understand I got a lot on my mind, a lot on my chest. That's why.
What's going on, everybody? Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics, and welcome to another episode of Indie Breakdown, where we break down your favorite characters' stats, powers, and abilities for an eventual indie versus matchup. We have another awesome guest here today. We're going to bring him on and let him introduce himself.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's going on, boss? How we feeling?
Feeling good, man. Feeling real good. It's Saturday. Been doing a little bit of cleaning around the house. Getting into the grime and stuff, and getting all ready for the next weeks of work.
Okay.
Uh, So, Hotshot is a character with Freestyle Comics. He's actually our flagship character. I think my colors is going to be joining us today too. But Hotshot is in college. He is holding down the city of Columbus, Ohio. He is fairly new. He's only been doing about a year and a half, 2 years. And he's in college trying to prove to his ex-girlfriend he never cheated on her without revealing he's a superhero. He goes to art school, and it's just that balance of trying to balance his school life with his superhero life, with his relationships, with the job, all that stuff into one. It's very much so inspired by Invincible, Naruto, Wolverine, and Spider-Man. And as of this year, this will be my 25th year working on this comic book.
Wow. Okay. Dang, 25. Dude, that's amazing, first off. And before we start diving into the character, you guys have a Kickstarter going on right now, right?
We do. We do. And it is at fskgo.com.
Perfect. Now, usually these are like obviously this is pre-recorded now, and usually this will play much later. But in the case, it's gonna be a very special situation here. In the case of this one, we're gonna make sure that this gets up way sooner, so that we can help promote this Kickstarter and get those numbers up for you. So, for sure, we're gonna have that, and I'll send all this to you as well. So, anybody that's listening, anybody that's watching, go check the Kickstarter out ASAP. We got how many days left on this?
It ends on the 26th.
On the 26th. So you guys will be able to, we're going to break down the character, we'll talk about Hotshot, and once you get all that information, let's go check out the feeds firsthand by picking up the book. So, Michael,
Yeah.
tell me about Hotshot. Tell me his powers, what all he got going on.
Well, right now, as far as we know, he's super strong, flight. He can take a punch. He's been able to detect heat inside of people, almost like the Predator. And he has these heat blasts. They're super focused heat blasts that he can do. He uses that to propel himself and to fly and things like that. Um, he's also been able to kind of use that heat blast as an explosion almost in different areas, and able to like trigger sparks and say like a gasoline tanker and make it blow up. Um, he has had the ability to do a kind of a Kamehameha wave explosion, but that's
Mm-hmm.
only been able to happen when he's been near death or on the verge of death. And it's kind
Mm.
of like his subconscious kicks in, and he takes a more ignited form, um, and it's like a sense of survival to keep himself alive or whatnot. But he's only been able to do that a couple times, and he hasn't been in control of it. So the journey of Hotshot not only is to go through these different experiences in his life and balance these relationships and things like that, but also to figure out where his powers come from and how he can gain more control of his powers.
Okay, I'm taking notes on the side because again, I'm a power scaling what if guy. I'm like, all right, if he gets matched up with somebody, if push come to shove, now you told me about this ignited form. I'm like,
Mm.
is he gonna activate it? How before we get to the ignited form, let's go back to the beginning here. Super strength. How strong is he? What does he mention? Is he picking up buildings, mountains? What kind of strength are we talking here?
He's not picking up buildings in his base form. I would say he's around the same type of strength of a Spider-Man.
Okay. And then okay, with that being said, then we'll talk about he has flight and what have you, and he uses this heat to propel him. How fast is he moving flight wise?
He can move pretty fast in short bursts.
Okay.
He's not a long distance sprinter, but if he focuses his energy, he can move really quick. I believe in issue one, he caught 5 falling cars in
Mm-hmm.
like in under 30 seconds. But he can't do it for a super long time. It's a short burst of energy.
Okay. And then does he get kind of is he getting winded by doing this? Is that what's happening as he's firing these blasts, as he's propelling himself? He's getting winded, or is it
So
just how his powers work?
the more energy he uses, he does experience what we've called a tap out. And his batteries
Mhm.
kind of have to recharge, but it depends on how much he expels. Like, for example, in issue 10, he does find a way to use his Kamehameha wave type of a explosion to save the city. But after that, he was immediately spent. There was no more energy in the tank. But if he's just casual, if he's just like using his powers throughout a fight and pacing himself, he kind of self recharges. So like
Okay.
he'll have something to go the distance, but if he goes for like that knockout, that instant KO, he's done. He's out of energy after that.
Okay. And then recharge time. How long is his recharge then?
It's fairly quick, but if he's expelling it, I'd say he's going to be down for at least 5 or 6 hours. Like it'll slowly come back in.
Uh-huh.
As far as the fire, the energy to like use that super flight or that energy blast or anything like that, that's going to take about 5 or 6 hours for him to regenerate. He'll
Mhm.
still be super strong. He'll still have his durability and things like that. But we see a great example of that in issue 10. He saves the city, but there's a missile that still goes off immediately after, and he can't stop it because he can't catch it.
Okay. And when you bring up durability then, is he tanking this missile? Right? Is he surviving that missile? Give me both with the powers still active and when once he's expelled the powers. What kind of level of damage can Hotshot take?
Well, as far as explosions and fires and things like that, that stuff doesn't hurt him. He can kind of, he doesn't know that yet, but he has the ability to kind of absorb the impact of that stuff. And we are going to, because we've slowly got to the point where we're starting to reveal kind of where his powers are coming from and what he can do because he's being put in these training seminars or
Okay.
whatnot. But explosions and fire really don't hurt Hotshot. Uh, I'd say his durability is pretty strong, but you hit somebody with the force of a semi truck, 3 or 4 times, he's going to start to bleed.
I
It's
see.
still hurting.
Because I saw, of course, issue one, he's fighting Void, and like he's getting tossed around for a hot second. It's like
Yeah,
okay, but like I said, starts bleeding, but not it does. From what I'm gathering, although it caused him to bleed, it wasn't something that was just like, oh man, I got to get together because that hurt. Well, I guess that's a lie because there was a particular point in that issue where he's like, I got to get serious here,
yeah,
but it didn't seem like it was his arm wasn't broken or nothing like that
right,
type
right, right,
joint.
right.
It's not too detrimental. So Void then at the moment. So he's hitting with the level of a semi truck. He's stronger than that. Where was he at?
Void is massively strong. Actually, Void is the first super villain that Hotshot ever really fought. Like
Hmm.
Void is a citywide, nationwide threat, and that's the first time Hotshot fought somebody like that. If we use the category kind of of the 5 star level from five
Hmm.
star, Void is a 5 star threat out the gate. Um, and so he's definitely hitting with the force of a semi truck at default. That's just
Whoa,
default strength for him.
base mode. Okay.
But
Hot.
Void is also very comfortable in his powers. He knows what he can do.
Mhm.
He's fully embraced it. He knows what to do with it. He knows how to apply the right amount of force. That's why he's going in on Hotshot so hard in that first issue or
Mhm.
second issue, whatnot. And Hotshot has the potential to get there. He just doesn't know how to get there. A lot of stuff is subconsciously triggered from him. So his durability, that's
Mhm.
to take the words from Toby Maguire, you don't just breathe, it happens.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So his durability just happens. That's like second nature. He's not in control of that. That's like what do they call that thing in a game that just is reoccurring, but you're not triggering it in an RPG?
Mhm.
I forgot what that's
I
called, but
can't think of it.
that's what it is. It's I want to say it's a soft power because it's always active and it just happens. Now his
Okay.
strength, like I said, he's on the Spider-Man type level strength. He does check himself. He can go beyond. He has a lot of potential, but this is the thing. He doesn't know how to access his potential.
Okay. Does it, okay, hold on. Doesn't
And
have
so,
that access.
in the in the latest issue, which is issue 12, issue 11. Issue 11 was the latest, but we're talking about, we have issue 12 coming out now. He is starting to see triggers to his powers. We're starting to understand that there is something that is mentally holding him back, and it is a childhood trauma from back when he was that is affecting his mentality on whether he sees himself as a true superhero or not. So um, we're taking him through the gauntlet now to see if he can work through that.
Okay. So really quick, I do see that your colorist just popped in.
Okay.
We'll have them jump in and introduce themselves, and then yeah, let's get some further insight on Hotshot through this really quick. Tasha, if you don't mind bringing them on.
Hi,
Boom. Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing good. And you?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Let the people know who you are, and well, Mike already gave us a clue as to what you do, but still, just in case anybody may have missed it, let them know who you are, what you do here.
Um, I'm Veronica Smith. Been coloring Hot Shot since issue 7, I think it was. Yep, I met Mike through a Facebook comic artist group, and
Okay. Now which is this is awesome. This is awesome. So now we got not only do we everybody that's listening and watching, not only do we have Mike Watts, he's writing it, been doing the line art, all of that. We got the colorist on here as well. Now again, we're gonna dive further into Hotshot and talk about what nuances and stuff are there. We talked about powers, we talked about strength, we talked about durability, we talked about speed. I want to dive into that ignited form. Of course, here we no spoilers or anything like that. So if there's certain facts and stuff that you can't share, don't, because we want to encourage people to go and read this and join and be a part of the journey and find out these things fresh. But if you can dive into the ignited form, he's done it a couple times. We know he has no control. What are kind of the levels of strength that he's exhibiting? And are there new powers that come with this form?
So we haven't released that there's any new powers. There will be, and it is more focused on the type of heat blast that he fires. That the color of the blast is going to change, and that's something that we're going to actually evolve to within the series. But when he's in the ignited form, that he's on par with Void. He's on par with Void's strength and things like that. There really aren't any new powers. It's just that his powers have increased. So he's able to do more. And then, so issue 2, Void literally beat Hotshot to death. And the ignited form brought him back. That's what pulled him from the darkness. It's the light inside him. And we see him do it again. It doesn't happen again. So it happens in issue 2. And then it doesn't happen again until issue 11. No. Yeah. So it doesn't happen again until then.
Okay.
So the big blast, he's been able to replicate that one other time. But I'm sorry. So this is great. So this is a good problem to have. We have a lot of issues. So I'm trying to remember everything that's happening in the book.
yep, I wish I had read through everything first so I could be more like being able to.
So it is when he does the ignited form, he puts himself. He kind of understands that he needs to put himself in a place of darkness that's death-like to trigger it. So he's not. He knows that he needs to put himself in a situation to trigger it, but he doesn't know how to just do it himself. But now he knows if I put myself in this situation, it'll happen. It'll ignite. So,
okay. Yeah. So I got one more for you, and then we're gonna jump to Veronica, correct? We're gonna jump to you in a second to get some insight what's like coloring this and kind of what you're gathering from the character through your process there. But tell me, what levels is his powers magnified or multiplied, right? No, of course not asking for numbers, we're not power scaling Dragon Ball style, like it's a 50 times boost. But like if with the example, if he's kind of Spider-Man level in base, what does he multiply to or magnify to once he enters this ignited form?
So once he magnifies and enters this form, I would say he is kind of like he'd be on par with a raw version of Thor. But it depends on how long he holds that form. Like we want to always like once for me, like I feel like once we give characters powers or things like that, or give them a range of power, there has to be some type of limiter and buffer on that.
For
So
sure.
in that ignited form doesn't last long. But once which he will, because we do have bigger things coming for him to face, once he starts to understand that form and can really channel his powers,
Mm-hmm.
I would, he's not. I'm never going to say he's like Dragon Ball Z level or anything like that. He's not a planetary threat, but he's definitely a citywide threat. I put him on Storm's level.
Okay. So really quick then, so one more, the heat blast. I did mean to go back to that briefly. What kind of things are those incinerating? Like how much power is behind these blasts? And of course, now that we've talked about the ignited form, we'll say how strong it is in base, and of course, comparable in that ascended form, if you would.
Yeah, he's definitely shooting through and burning through metal, cement, and wood. Even at his base form, just like he can turn that power up that much. But the ignited form, it's just powerful enough. Like so I guess to help in his ignited form, he shot Void with one of the big blasts from Columbus, Ohio, and it catapulted Void all the way to the Antarctic.
Okay, oh Jesus. Okay, that's intense. Okay, shot him from Ohio to the Antarctic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jesus, I'm gonna have fun trying to run those numbers. Like, how much force is he taking? That's gonna be
Off
good.
the charts.
Say again. Say again.
Like off the charts, like I can't even
Oh yeah,
imagine
it's gonna.
the
Oh,
heat of
that's
like just
listen.
I don't even know how many miles that is. I'm like, it's a lot.
Right, it's a lot, but
Listen, we gonna find out.
but immediately after he did that, he was expended.
Mhm.
He immediately passed out, and
Mm.
that blast that he did, that wasn't. I want to say the way I want to say this. It wasn't an incendiary blast. It was a more of like get the hell away from me as quickly as possible.
Okay, almost a concussive type blast in that
Yeah.
case. Then
Mm-hmm.
okay, and so he could choose between the two of those. From like, hey, either this is just gonna be like like you said, more of a concussive, or instead he could swap back and forth in that form. Then how well. Without putting numbers again, how hot is it burning? If he were to use an incendiary type style version of that, would he have been able to destroy Void in that hit?
He would be able to destroy Void's, core, his power, which is the.
Okay.
He would be able to incinerate that. Right now we have it scheduled, for. So you got the regular kind of like just this cool blue flame, orange flame that shoots out of his hands. The next level would be a more focused blue flame. And then after the blue flame would be a solid, like white hot white flame.
Okay. Too white hot. Okay. So really quick, what has been your experience coloring Hotshot, and what have you been kind of gathering yourself from this character, right, through the process of his fighting and just his journey so far?
Let's see. I feel like Hotshot's kind of gone through like the full gamut of like emotions and been a little thrown through the ringer these last few episodes. And it's not really gonna stop. But
Little insight there. Okay.
but let's see. I've had a lot of fun with it. Probably because generally I kind of get free reign pretty much with doing it how I kind of sort of a little bit of like an intuitiveness about how how things are going, like emotionally, and just the kind of the feel of the whatever moment it's in, and then I try to kind of curate color palettes and things to go with what's going on at the moment.
Okay. And so we're talking about him going through the ringer. Obviously, again, no spoilers for the next issue, but conveying that emotion and stuff with the colors and, well, obviously you're still doing the line art, of course. But what is kind of, you said it's not going to end anytime soon. What is kind of the worst thing we've seen for Hotshot, and how's that affected his ability to be Hotshot?
Well, I don't mind spoilers because this issue is very important to me.
Okay.
It actually deals with very serious issue that a lot of people experience. It has to deal with spousal abuse, and that is
Mm,
part of Hotshot's trauma. Is that when he was a kid and he didn't have any powers, he watched his mom get beat, and he didn't do anything. Not because he couldn't, not because he couldn't, not that he didn't. He was scared, and
mm,
that's what's eating at him mentally, is that he knows deep down that he was afraid, and he feels like the only reason he's a superhero now is because he has the power to be a superhero. um it's
oh,
like
wow.
that classic Hercules question: are you a hero because you have power, or are you just a regular person? Would you still do these things even if you didn't have the power to do these things? And that's where his self-doubt is coming into play. And this issue is going to be the absolute worst that you've seen him, because he's going to go through confidence, he's going to go through anger, he's going to go to rage, he is going to be hurt. Like I don't know if anybody's ever been into a fight with something so emotional that they cried through it while throwing the punches, but like
Mm,
that's literally where we're going to be at with Hotshot in this next part of the Unforgiven story. Of course, he's admitted to his ex-girlfriend that that the superhero life is more important to her, and he had to choose the superhero life over her in issue 9. And he has been emotional in the conversation with him and his ex-girlfriend about things or whatnot, but this is his mom that he's going back to try to save, and he's trying to rectify a situation that he felt that he never fixed the first time. And so
mm.
as far as violence, anger, rage, hurt, love, like he's gonna go through all that in this issue.
Wow. And so the second part of that question, which I did have a hard time formulating just now, but I think I got it now. What do you kind of pull from when preparing to draw and color like scenes like what we're about to kind of experience in this next issue of Hot Shot?
Oh God. I'm gonna say K dramas.
Okay.
They are very good, and within this last year and a half, they have really, I wear my emotions on my sleeves when I watch TV and anime. So I've really been pulled into that. Naruto and Invincible, like I said, are huge influences as far as putting characters in the gray area and making choices that hurt. And I
Mhm.
want, I mean, it sounds terrible, but I want to hurt Hotshot. Um,
The grow, yeah.
and I want our readers to be hurt by what happens to Hotshot. We want you to be able to get behind him and feel his pain and go through the experience with him, because I think when you come out on the other side, you want the character to prevail even more when you're down in the gutter with him.
Okay. And how about yourself? What do you pull from when going into coloring these type of scenes like this, really heavy and character traumatic scenes like that?
I guess it's kind of similar to Mike, although I probably should watch more movies and things, but I feel like just life itself, just got to get you down sometimes. So
Mm,
then it's pretty easy to then like go to a space of my own, crap that I've had to deal with. So then it's like going back to that place and then trying to associate those feelings with, okay, well, how would that look in this situation? What colors do we associate with those kinds of feelings
Emotion.
and situations? And
Okay.
I will say that
although I
Veronica
did
came.
really like, sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. Go ahead.
I just happened to think of basically kind of silly, but the new the Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, I think that's what it was.
It's
Had
incredible.
some like really intense, like just the intensity of the colors. And sometimes I like to try to pull from that of being more saturated, dark, intense, kind of as we go along, of getting into that.
Okay.
I would say I
Nice.
have full trust with Veronica when it comes to coloring. I draw stuff in specific for the way that Veronica colors. There are scenes that I set up and I try to lay out, and I'm like this would be something that Veronica can really dive into and explore. She's been coloring the book since issue 7, and she's been able to read my lines like flawlessly, and just been able to match tone, emotion, expression with her colors. Like I think the whole time that Veronica colors things, I think I've only had to correct something like, oh no, it's this shade of blue, or it's that red, for like a costume. But as far as powers, as far as tone and emotion, she completely captures that. Like, and then, I mean, obviously she's reading the script too, and so she knew this issue was going to be kind of heavy with the emotions, and that's one of the things that we don't shy away from with the Hotshot book. We want the personal life in there. We want that personal experience to be a part of that story, because that stuff is just as crucial as the action.
Fair enough. See that, and with y'all having so many issues, with y'all being able to work together so long, it's really obviously we're still really early in the game. So being able to build a relationship with the same artist, the same colorist, the same, you actually have a team, is definitely something that we're striving to get to. So y'all are definitely motivation and inspiration in that field. You said you've been doing this 25 years. 25. That's, you can't, everybody can't say that. As long as we've been in it, we've seen people come and go already, and it's just like, wow, like this journey isn't for everybody. I guess this isn't for the weak for sure, because it's definitely struggle for sure. But
no, we
We don't
definitely
do it because it's easy and for the money.
right, facts.
we've definitely had our successes, but we've definitely had our setbacks. And I'm sorry to say that Veronica has experienced some of those setbacks with me, and that's why she's one of the people that I trust the most at FSK, because she's rode through those dark clouds with me, and still been here and still helping to do the work. And like, Veronica also helps with any edits on the book, like anything that she like. This woman has my full trust, because like if she sees something, she just fixes it and then just sends me a note later, like, hey, I adjusted this, or this didn't look right, so I adjusted that. Da, 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 da. And then just got to the point like, oh, well, damn, we need to give you credit for it for what you're doing.
Okay.
So it hasn't been. It hasn't
Very
been
much on the
25
down
years.
low. I'm just like,
It hasn't
So
been 25 years of success. It's been up and down, and
I'm
there's been a
sneaky
couple
about it. Just like,
yeah.
okay. Well, y'all are wearing it well, because obviously for us, we're
sorry.
only 3 years in the game ourselves. We've just been like, yo, this is the group right here. They're doing it. Y'all, Concrete, Godhood, like y'all been doing this. Tony with Advent, like y'all have been in the game, killing
Mhm.
it. So it's just outside looking in, y'all are doing what we want to do. Y'all are at the point we're striving to be at. So keep up the great work. You're doing an amazing job, and we are going to transition back in just a moment to your boy Hotshot. I failed to ask you a question earlier about what is his reactionary speed. We did talk about his travel speed. Actually, yeah, we talked about his travel speed briefly, but we never got. I want to know, is he moving Mach 1, under that, speeding car? What is he moving speed wise? And then we'll dive back into reactionary speed.
I'd say like in flight mode, if he's cooking, he can do the Mach 1 type
Okay.
of speed in flight in a straightaway. But he doesn't have a lot of maneuverability at those speeds. It's more of a point A, point B. He's not zip lining all around like a Superman or a Flash. Um, and then at that speed or whatnot. But like when he's like trying to catch cars or grab, save people, a bundle of people, he can move fast, but not fast enough to where those people shatter or anything like from the force
Yeah.
of him moving. And again, he can only do that in short bursts. Um, I really haven't put a gauge of time on it, but I feel like in a fight, like even if like I was to get in a street fight or whatnot, his reactionary speed would be equivalent of a superhero fight. That's why
Okay.
if he gets hit enough times, he'll bleed or we've had Hotshot literally say that shit hurts. All right, uh, you know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
it not a proper, and these are like really great questions to think about engaging things. And luckily I can pull back on some of the things that happen in the book to try to quantify
Right.
that.
And so, all right. And so that's base, I'm assuming. Is he moving way faster than that in that ignited form, or is it more just? Well, I mean, I assume so because of the amount that he
Yeah.
can output at this point. But what is kind of the levels that he can move at this point? You think in the ignited form?
In the ignited form, I'd say 2 or 3 times higher than the base form. And
Okay.
again, that's controlled in how he uses it. Like he's not just unlimited power like they do in DBZ or Naruto. Stop. Like if he puts all that in the speed, then he's gonna tap himself out. But if he kind of balances it, he'll last longer. It depends on the amount of exertion that he does and what he's doing will balance how long he stays in that form.
Okay. And then same questions, but reactionary speed now. So is he dodging bullets? Is he faster than that? How fast does he react to stuff?
He's not dodging bullets because he's been shot before. Um,
Okay.
but he can come up with he did come up with like a wall of heat. And this was kind of like instinctually, he just did this, a wall of heat that popped up so hot that when the rest of the bullets came through, they instantly melted.
Hmm. Okay. So, okay, he saw people firing at him and was just like, "Oh, wait," and just kind of like in that split second, got hit with one, blocked the
Mhm.
rest of them because they were already okay. And then ignited form, is he able to then better perceive, or that doesn't really affect his kind of his perception and reactionary movements?
He doesn't need any reactionary movement in the ignited form, which is one thing I do have to ask Veronica to tweak. Uh, on one page, he's so hot that his mask burns off of his face. So anything that kind of gets in the perimeter of that just gets melted. And that
Mm.
wasn't Veronica's fault. That was mine because I didn't explain it in the script right.
Oh, there we go, live edits, ladies and gentlemen, live edits.
Mental noted.
So I think. Oh, that there was one. I wanted you to dive into the explosion one more time. I want to know. So he did it to protect the city. How controlled is this explosion that he utilizes? I think you compared it to like almost a
It's
man blast, if you would. It's not
Yeah,
controlled. Uh
it's not
oh.
controlled. um, uh,
Oh snap.
so
Okay.
when he was fighting Void and he was telling Void, he did it twice. And he did them both with Void. He was telling Void to stay back, and Void kept coming in his face. And there were sparks right before there, and like a small grenade to knock Void back.
Hmm.
And then he was trying to keep Void down, and Void was by a gasoline tanker, and he looked at it and he made the sparks ignite inside the gasoline tanker, which caused the bigger explosion. Um, part of his tragedy right now is that he used his big blast. Once he figured out how to put himself in a situation to ignite, he used the big blast to destroy these giant robots he was fighting, but it took out half the block. So it's not he doesn't have control of it. But and that's what we want though. We want him to hit a growth spurt, and then there's another wall. All right, yeah. All right, now you know how to do the blast. Now you know how to put yourself in the form to do the blast, but you don't know how to control the blast. You don't know how to keep the levels or the volume of it up and down so you can still fight.
Hmm. And so you may have said this just now, or rather earlier, but when he's in that ignited form, he's still in control, though, right? He's still very much cognizant of what he's doing, but maybe just not used to the amount of power that he's able to output at this point. Do
Yeah,
I have that right?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I think I may have said this before we started, but these don't be too long. This is, this is a lot of good, because again, like I want the stats, I want the powers, I want the abilities. Because when we dive in and have you go against, name an indie character, right? Because we can put it on the randomizer wheel, so whoever you end up against is who you got. You know what I mean? So, the first one we did was Delta Dogs versus Black Bow, and it was just like, yeah, 7v1, but what would Black Bolt do? Let's, because every
Yeah.
fight's not going to be fair. You know what I'm saying? If
All right.
your character ended up in a matchup in the story, or again in this kind of what if scenario, I want to know what they're going to do. What can they utilize? What do they have in their arsenal to be able to walk away with? And I'm liking all of this right now. I have a notebook full. I got a bunch of notes right now, so I'm like, yeah, yeah. And so just kind of explain to you guys and anybody that's listening and watching as well, kind of how everything goes moving forward in regards to this. We're gonna obviously all this is gonna get posted, all this other good stuff. We're gonna finish out the season. We got 4 more people that'll be announced soon. That's gonna be on the second season, and then you guys get thrown into a randomizer wheel. We did a creator clash. All you guys come in, say out of everybody in this season, this is who I want to, or everybody in both seasons rather. You guys gonna be like, I want to fight. I'll just throw. I want to fight Acolyte. You know what I'm saying? I want to fight this person. Okay, bet. Why do you think you would win? And we do all the trash talking and all this other stuff. And then we hit the randomizer wheel. So it's like conversation like, Hotshot's on there. All right, we're going to roll the randomizer wheel. He got 5-star. Now what? All right, Hotshot versus 5-star. This is how we think it would play out, right? Based on what we've read, based on what you guys have told us. And then we have everybody else let us know what their verdict is as well. So that's kind of how we do things with that. But before we go, I want both of you guys to let everybody know where they can find you, how they can support you, and what all you guys have going on. And then we'll close out.
All right. Cool, man. Well, you can always find me as Most Epic Art on all social media. And specifically this month, it is fskgo.com for our Kickstarter. The Kickstarter is live right now. We have to go to 2,500. And we are releasing the brand new issue of Hotshot. It is technically our 13th issue of Hotshot because we have 0 through 12 available now. But we also have our entire Freestyle Comics universe on this Kickstarter. So that is inclusive of all 42 comic books that we have released in one comic book universe. We have that at like basically 50% off. Normally it's $420, but we're doing that at like $225 with free shipping. And that's a pledge all its own. We have new jackets, new hats, and action figure. The Hotshot action figure will be available on campaign. We have the box and everything. Danny Cooper has worked very hard on putting this together. We have the fully colored one, and then we have an all-white prototype, and we have one that you can put together. So we have different levels for the action figures you guys can get on there. We have our new jackets, which I'm very excited about. And of course, comics. Comics are on there, our metal bookmarks, all types of jazz. This story, it's called Unforgiven. This is a very crucial part. If you enjoy emotion, if you enjoy seeing a character get full of rage or being pushed into the darkness, this is going to be the story that you want to read and experience. It was very it took a long time to draw, as this is kind of based off of my own situation of watching my mom go through this. I had to have a conversation with my mom about if it was okay if I could do this story, and my sister because it was about her father. So there's a lot in this story, and I hope you guys get it. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Ooh, that's heavy. That's heavy. Veronica, where can we find you?
Find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Quirky Mystic.
All right. Well, everybody, you guys heard it. Y'all know where to find them. Thank you guys for listening to another awesome Indie Breakdown episode. Of course, I'm Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics, and you guys can find us everywhere Midnight X Comics, except for Facebook and YouTube, where we're just Midnight Comics. Don't forget to check out our Patreon, where, of course, you'll be getting these episodes way early. So if you're listening on Spotify, you'll be able to actually watch this on Patreon, but you'll also get all the rest of the episodes as well. We have our What If Wednesdays that are on there, as well as our community character creation nights, where we allow you guys to make all the background characters that are in the Midnight Comics universe. So definitely check all those things out there. And remember, until next time, everybody, midnight is coming. So.